live on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 1251. Yes, episode number 1251 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition. Live again today from Red Morton Park. Yeah, today, my lady's taking a nap right now. We just finished recording episode number 46 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. Hey, Tia. And Dawn's tired. She's taking a nap. I don't blame her. We've had a lot to do lately. So Dawn may or may not be here. GLM's leaving one of her 6,000 live streams she does every day now to pop on in here and just say hello before she goes back to the stream. Hello, GLM. I heard what you said about me earlier. I popped on in when you were questioning me regarding the Sharoma. The Sharoma is Raleigh. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm entitled to my opinion. You know, when Sharoma tells me to get a job after being nice to me, then you know it's Raleigh. And so if you don't want to think that's on you, no big deal. It's not going to affect my relationship with you or anyone else, unless you want it to. I don't want it to, but you know what? I mean, if you folks want to play on YouTube all day, every day, I'm not here to play on YouTube. I'm here to have great conversations and help uplift people. It is what it is. It's just that. It is what it is. I'm not upset. I'm not offended. It's just that, hey, you know what? If people are not going to be reasonable, right, and put two and two together, then whatever, right? And the simplest way to do it, GLM, would be to just say, Sharoma, why don't you pop on the panel? You don't have to use your name. You don't have to show your face. Just come on, let us hear your voice, right? At least that, right? At least try to get someone to pretend to come on and be a Sharoma. I mean, look, it's an anonymous account. We know that, right? And we know there are a certain group of people, primarily a similar group of men, Raleigh's one of them, that continue to say those things about me to this day. So whatever, right? It is what it is. I mean, it could be the defendant in my case. It could be somebody, anyone from that side. It's not a real Sharoma person. It's one of them trolling. Let's just be real about it, okay? I hope you've all had a great day. Today, we are 5 days away from the hearing of my civil case, the first hearing of my civil case. And I'm going to be talking today about a strategy that I think the defendant is going to try to use in court. You know, will the defendant try to condition the court just like he does YouTube? So meaning, will the defendant in the circuit civil case at our first hearing this Friday try to use the same audience conditioning tactics that he's used to keep his audience around by leading them to believe a certain narrative of me or others, right? So they can believe that whether it's true or not, right? And then they believe him, and then they feel that he's credible, right? Will he try to do the same thing in court this Friday? Will he try to condition the court with this hearing? Oh, hey, babe, you woke up. Good. I was going to say good morning, but it's good evening. Today I'm a little bit all over the place. There's a lot going on. I've had a lot to do, but it's all good. We got it going on. It's all good. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right. We are back live. We are back live. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Thank you, babe. Let's address the elephant in the room, William. Let's also address Sarah. Because you want my attention, obviously, Sarah. You want my attention, right? Or at least you want to try to help Jamie or help William, or maybe this is just your entertainment. Maybe this is, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but no. This is not my preemptive excuse. It's quite the opposite. You're trying to help Jamie condition that audience to believe something that you know and he knows is not true, because there's no substance for this case on Friday. There's no spoliation of evidence. There's no adverse inference. And you also know, Sarah, I'm far superior in court than Jamie is. Let's just be direct and answer your questions right here, right? It's YouTube, right? You're talking about me publicly in the chat. You've been trying to get my attention for a while. Okay, whatever, right? I can respond, and I'll respond with the truth, right? Okay? This is all your entertainment. It's all a game to all you folks, right? That's what it boils down to. It's all a game. And fine, make it a game, but it's not going to be a game on Friday when we're in court. I'm not trying to preempt anything. If anything, I'm predicting exactly what your buddy Jamie is going to do on Friday. He's going to try to bring drama into the court because there's no spoliation of evidence. I already submitted everything. And he practically gave me his entire strategy in his filing. I mean, it's obvious, right? He had to file it before the hearing so I can get a copy of it, right? Can you folks hear me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Could you hear me? I was still screen recording, and the screen recording finally just stopped. Have you folks heard everything I've said? Put a 1 in the chat. You've heard everything I've said. Okay. It's okay. Go ahead and have your fun. Bill, you're going to keep restreaming. I can't control that. I can file copyrights every time you delete stuff, right? We're going to handle that in the court, okay? And we may end up just going after you for willful copyright infringement. I may just end up suing you, Bill, as well, because you've run... I've downloaded them all, screenshot everything. You still have them up publicly available on Rumble. You've run like 10 or 11 watch parties of my rebroadcasts in January because you're trying to keep the stove hot for Jamie, right? We all know what you're doing. And we all know why you're doing it. Sarah knows why you're doing it. Tammy knows why you're doing it. Let's just call out the names. I don't care. I'm not afraid of any of you. Because this is stupid, right? This is stupid, right? Right? It's dumb. You folks just cannot stop stealing from me, lying about me. You guys can't stop. Because this is what you need every day to feel good about yourselves, right? That's the truth of the matter, right? Now, when I finish addressing you folks in the chat there, then we'll get to what your buddy James will be doing on Friday. What I already know he's going to do. What he's already going to try to do to try to make me look bad in front of the judge. And I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for it. I'm not going to let it upset me. There's a proper way to handle it procedurally and calmly through the court. That's how I'm going to do it, right? You want to spin different narratives to that audience? No. There's some people trying to get my attention to troll me, and I'm ignoring them. And they continue to talk. And if they don't stop, I'm going to turn this off. And then I'll just go tell them to leave me alone. It's all good. I don't mind people coming up to me in a normal way, but when it's the young ones that are asking dumb questions or trying to troll, I ignore them. So let's continue here, okay? We may have to handle you separately in federal copyright court as well. Bill, William, right? I'm not kidding, man. I know exactly where to serve you now, and I got plenty of evidence, right? Do you think that I'm going to let you commercially exploit me and affect me because the defendant can't do it right now because of this case? Do you think I don't know what's going on regardless of what you say? Because all you are, Bill, is a bunch of insults, right? You have no substance, Bill. You've never had substance. You're just a massive insult, right? And you delete everything from YouTube because you're purposefully evading platform enforcement. That will be addressed on Friday at the hearing in a specific way. In a specific way that neither you or the defendant are going to understand until you see what happens, right? I'm not kidding, Bill. I'm getting that close to filing like 10 more copyright certificates, all within the 90-day window to qualify for statutory damages, then also suing you in federal copyright court. See, you're not going to take it seriously, Bill, until I sue you, right? And you're at that point right now. You're at that point right now where you're about to get sued. And keep on insulting me and keep on leaving up your evidence on Rumble so I can download it. Right? Keep on leaving your backup copies on Rumble. Namika P, what makes sense? How you doing? Welcome to the show. How's it going? I'm just curious to know what makes sense. Please be a little more specific. Great to see you here. My reaction regarding Bill, I don't even know if I'd call it a reaction. It's just basically stating the facts. This is one big civil conspiracy amongst this whole entire group. They're all acting in concert, right? They're all acting in concert. And that's how it's going to be presented to Judge Stacy, right? I could have Dawn file a DMCA. She doesn't have access to do it. All I have to do is tell her to do it. She could do it. She would prefer not to. It takes her a little bit longer to fill out the form than me. Let me address you one more time, Sarah, because you seem to want some of my attention lately, right? So I've done nothing wrong to you. Nothing. I don't talk about you hardly ever, but you continue to feed this group what they need to keep on surviving, right? And you honestly know that I've been wronged here. You're the one that told me that many years ago, but you seem to not talk about that anymore because you've switched sides, right? So apparently either you think I'm wrong about this, or I don't know, maybe there's some kind of a grudge. I've done nothing wrong to any of you. And you folks just continue to try to get my attention because your content engine is built off of that. That's just really bizarre. Don't you think it's bizarre by now? Right? Don't you think it's bizarre? And you're talking about me, so it's okay for me to talk about you too, Sarah. You're talking about me, you talk about me all the time in the chat. You don't do many streams on me anymore, but you talk about me in the chat. I see everything that you put in there, and I ignore most of it because I know you're acting, right? I know you're acting. I know you're clocking in, clocking out. And to a certain extent, I honestly feel that you're still upset at me about the past over something that was out of my control, over a conflict of interest, right? I mean, you wouldn't want people treating you this way. If I said things about you, even halfway in the same ways you're saying them about me, you'd be upset about it. But it's okay for you to say these things about me. But if I were to say something about you, you know, even halfway decent, it would upset you. So I don't get it. What's this game all about? I'm going to walk around the neighborhood. There's just way too many people everywhere there. I can't get through. Oh, I'm smelling smoke over there. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly, please. I'm going to wait for some people to come on back. I'm going to wait for some people to come on back. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you, Tia. All right. So I'm going to address Sarah once again because she posted on her community wall she left Bill's stream. And she said she has no grudge against me. I believe that. But she also said she doesn't like the court stuff, right? I don't like court stuff either, Sarah. I never have. Nobody likes court. I never wanted to go to court with Jamie or any one of you. You folks put me in this position. Jamie put himself in this position. I asked him to stop many times over the years. He never stopped. He kept telling me, F you, Eli. It's my freedom of speech. And I have fair use rights. When you know he's been defaming my character and he's also been massively violating my copyright. You yourself told me that years ago. Right? So I believe that you have no grudge. But the thing is, you're still playing along with this charade. And that's the bizarre thing. Right? I just don't get it, right? Am I supposed to sit here and let this guy commercially exploit me and keep on ruining my reputation? And everywhere I go, he follows me, and then after I leave a panel, he goes on these panels and plays people older videos of me and basically ruins my chance to work with them? If it wasn't for any of you in that group, Sarah, even before you got there 5 years ago, if it wasn't for any of those people in that group, I would have been far more ahead. I would have been friends with RJ. I would have been friends with Gemma. I would have been friends with all these people creating all this content. And you folks all intervened and purposefully destroyed those relationships. You know it's true. You may be laughing in your head, Sarah, but you know it's true. And a lot of people wonder why I don't come after you, because I know you're just acting. I know you don't mean for any of this to be going on. I know you want to be friends with everyone, including me, including Jamie, including everyone. But it doesn't work that way. You can't be friends with people when you support other people that are attacking me. It's the same thing on the flip side. I don't support people that attack you or anything. I've always cut that stuff out. And I no longer insult people. Even though insulting is protected speech, I think it's stupid. Insulting people has no substance at all, right? You got Bill. Brutally honest Bill. William. All he does is insult. He does no commentary on his watch parties, rebroadcasting every single one of my streams right now, Sarah, because it's too hot for Jamie to do it. You know exactly what's going on. So while I believe you have no issues with me, you're still supporting these people from causing me harm. That's why I'm in court. They don't stop. Just like in the days when people came at you and they wouldn't stop, you got protective orders on them. It was the right thing to do. I supported you on that. I'm in the same situation now with these people, including the defendant, Jamie. I don't have a choice. I want to be able to have my freedom and flexibility to run my business out here without this coordinated, targeted smear hate attack, constant rebroadcasting campaign, affecting me algorithmically and otherwise. And I'll address this to you as well, Sarah. I've done the right thing. I've done the right thing. You also know that Jamie's made a way more money off my own content than I have. A lot more, 90% more money. He's made about 200 grand plus in the last 6 years off my content. Do you think that's fair? How would you feel if you did all the work I did and someone else siphoned all the money from you? How would you feel about that? Now, I'm not triggered. I'm very passionate, and I will stand up for myself. I don't like court just as much as you don't like court. I don't really want to be there. I don't have a fucking choice. All of you people over there could be encouraging Jamie and Bill and people like Tammy and all of them to just stop and move the fuck on. But you folks don't do that. Instead of encouraging them to stop, you go there and support them in the chats with snarky remarks. Yet then there's no problem with me. It's just the court thing. We wouldn't be in court if there wasn't a problem. Right? On my second lap, I'm going to talk about what the defendant is going to do on Friday. He's going to try to condition the court. The court in this case is Judge Stacy. When you call the court in reference to your case, the court is the judge of that particular court case in their courtroom. The court in this case is Judge Stacy. So when I say the court, it's her, right? He's going to try to do what he does on YouTube to Judge Stacy. He's going to try to condition the judge's outlook of me. Now, why would you say he would do that at this point? Why don't you listen to how smart I am with no script, just taking a walk at the park off the top of my head based on the experiences I've been through. Why would he try to do that? That's what he does on YouTube. He conditions his audience in the ways that he needs them to be, monetarily, and to react to other people like me and others in the ways that he wants them to, right? It's called audience conditioning. Sarah knows exactly what I'm talking about because she used to work in Hollywood. She knows it, right? So, come Friday, I think he's going to try to condition the judge and paint a picture to Judge Stacy, something I'm not. That's what you're going to do, Mr. Defendant. I'll tell you why, because there's no spoliation. She's going to ask you, where's the spoliation? I've given you all the evidence. It's on the docket. If you want chat and other metrics, you never initially requested that. If you want that now, you can request that through proper discovery. Case closed. Now, your big filing yesterday, 6 filings, 5 exhibits, and an exhibit index or whatever it was, right? You're trying to condition in Judge Stacy's head a narrative difference between you and I that you're going to try to show her that is not different. You're going to try to make it seem like it's a YouTube beef, sir. You're going to try to paint in Judge Stacy's head that you and I have a YouTube beef. This is not a YouTube beef, sir. This is defamation of character. This is commercial exploitation and a whole lot more. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'm on a roll. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Think about it. If you somehow can get away with it, which she's not going to buy it, and I'm not going to let it happen, I'm going to tell you how. Because anything you have planned regarding trying to paint me in that way, regarding something that's not relevant to the hearing, right when you're done bringing it up, this is what I'm going to say calmly. Objection, Your Honor. Relevance. This hearing is for spoliation and preservation. That's it. Then I shut my mouth. Then Judge Stacy might say, either right away she might say, objection sustained, or she might say to you, Mr. Blah, 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 what is your relevancy to this? And how are you going to tie relevancy of the January 9th administrative hearing scheduling issue with the judicial assistant into a spoliation or preservation thing? It has nothing to do with it. You're going to try to sit there and explain what the relevancy of you bringing these things up. And then Judge Stacy will probably say, plaintiff's objection sustained. Move it along, Mr. You-know-what, right? So is that what you're going to do, James? You're going to try to bring all that stuff to try to condition the judge. Not for this hearing. You want to prepare her for the major hearing in April, the motion to dismiss / anti-slap. You think I'm not thinking that far ahead? You think that you're the master manipulator, sir? You think that you're going to outsmart me? You will never, ever, ever, ever outsmart me. Ever. You will not, especially in the court of law. You will never outsmart me. I'm a million steps ahead of you. You will not outsmart me. Go ahead and try to condition me to Judge Stacy in the ways that I know you're going to do, because what other card do you have to play? And every time you try to bring something up that has zero relevancy, objection, Your Honor, relevance. This hearing is for spoliation and preservation. And again, she'll ask you, what does this have to do with spoliation and adverse inference and preservation? The preservation part is my protective order against the links I gave you, so you can't just go out there and rebroadcast them. But there's also another aspect that I'm looking to try to get her to order, is for third-party preservation as well. Anyone acting in concert with you. Besides that, there's nothing relevant. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to get triggered in court. I'm going to be cool and calm. And anything you try to bring up outside of the scope of the hearing, I'm prepping you. I'm trying to prevent you from A, looking like a fool, B, wasting the court's time and my time, right? And your time, right? And C, pissing off the court, in this case, aka Judge Stacy. And D, I'm letting you know I know your game better than you do. And your game's not going to work on me. And I'll have more from the studio tomorrow. And anyone that rebroadcasts me from the studio tomorrow, I don't care who you are, you're all getting DMCA'd immediately. If you file a counter notification, then we're going to court. That's the bottom line. I'm done. That's it. Those are my boundaries. I'm done with this group. I'm done. I'm done with this group. You keep on messing with me, you're going to be in court. I'm done. That's why we're in court, Sarah. I don't want to be in court. You see, Sarah, you're the smart one. You're not doing any of that stuff anymore. Yeah, you make comments every now and then. But see, the thing about you, Sarah, is you understand the liability risk. And you don't really want to harm anyone, including me. At least I'd like to believe that. Okay? And I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt solely on the fact that you are on the other side and have been for a while. But you don't do any of the stuff that you used to do. You don't do any of the rebroadcasts or anything. Yeah, you did one. I let it go. Big deal. You stopped. I let it go. But that's why we're in court. We're in court because it won't stop any other way. I really wish it could be different. I really wish it could be different. I cannot function on this platform when you have a guy like Jamie that basically works through a lot of people to continue this Eli charade going, this Eli content engine, commercial exploitation engine going. And when the stove gets hot, he outsources. You know what, Sarah? You know Jamie could easily tell William, a.k.a. Bill, to stop, and he would stop. You know Jamie could do that. You could probably convince Jamie to stop. Sarah? Or to tell William to stop. So, I mean, there's the answer. I don't want to be in court, but we're in court because you folks aren't even telling them to stop. So what choice do I have? What choice do I have? All right, we are back live. We are back live. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly, please. I'm just going to wait. Thank you, Tia. Yeah, Jamie's in the and his chat. Sarah's back in there. It's all good, whatever. Right? Jamie, you could easily tell him to stop. You know you can. You know it's your audience. You also know, Jamie, that without your audience, no one would be there watching Bill's restream. Now, why don't you restream me? Because you're afraid of copyright, or you're afraid that the court's going to know about it? You see, here's the thing, Jamie. You're there watching a restream of me every time Bill does it, almost. If not, like 95% of the time. But you'd rather do it yourself because you can make a lot of money. So you can't sit here and tell me that you couldn't get him to stop. You could. You're choosing not to. Don't patronize me. Don't patronize me over that. Put a 1 in the chat here, folks, if you believe Jamie could get Bill and every one of them to stop, but he doesn't want it to stop because he's obsessed with control over me. He's obsessed with dominance over me. And here's the thing, I've seen all your filings. And no, you didn't file in the filings regarding January 9th, but you did previously. So you could still bring it up. And you're going to bring up, oh, where's the evidence regarding the chat logs and all that, right? Well, you never filed that initially. I saw exactly what you filed yesterday. It was a bunch of garbage. I did a show on it yesterday. You saw it. You know I responded to it. I ran everything through ChatGPT. I read them all, and I ran everything through ChatGPT and got the highlights of it. I don't have time for your theatrics on the docket just like you do on YouTube, sir. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to read the whole thing online. I read the whole thing for myself and got a synopsis from ChatGPT. So what's your point? You've got nothing. You're the one that's violated me. You keep violating me. You keep violating me through third parties. And all I'm saying is, if you want to bring YouTube drama into this case, into this hearing on Friday, you're going to see what's going to happen. You're going to, number one, get objected every time calmly, and you're going to have to respond to Judge Stacy why is what you want to present relevant to this hearing, specifically for spoliation, adverse inference, and preservation. Besides that, nothing else is relevant. So your only case is going to be, well, he removing those videos, putting them to private, it doesn't give me access to the chat and to the metrics. Okay? Give me a valid reason why you need that. I'll get you those. Or ask for that through actual discovery. Are you still performing for your audience, sir? Are you still leading them to believe that I'm spoiling evidence? I've never once destroyed evidence. I protected my channel. Like you would have done the same thing. You turned this into a big YouTube fiasco. You turned this into a YouTube performance that I am not going to bring that into the courtroom and waste Judge Stacy's time. I put it in the filings. When the time is right, if she wants to ask me about it, I'll briefly answer it then. But my filings speak for themselves. My filings speak for themselves. Quite frankly, I don't care what you present on Friday. If it's not relevant to spoliation, adverse inference, or preservation, protective orders, then you're getting objected. And you're going to have to answer why it's relevant. Because if you actually stick to the purpose of the hearing, it should only last like 10 minutes. And your only response for spoliation is, well, I don't have the chat and I don't have the likes and other metrics. You can get those through discovery. You never, ever put them on your filings when you shared my link. You got nothing, dude. You're performing again for your audience. And people like Sarah are just helping you do that. I know that. That's all it is. It's a performance. It's always been a performance, right? But I'm not here to perform, sir. And I'm certainly not going to perform in court. And I don't have a problem speaking out. And now just talking about it straight up, right? But you know what sucks? Is that all of you people there live off my content. You feel entitled to my content. Like, Bill, you restream my content. It's illegal. And you're going to pay for it, Bill. Trust me, that's coming. It's illegal, but you do it, Bill, because you know that if you don't, I'll get all the traction and you won't. And your group won't. Your people will be watching me here, and you guys can't stand that. You can't stand the fact that without me, Elias Dimitri Melas, all of you are nothing. Flat out nothing. Now, if a few of you have gotten into a good career, congratulations. Go focus on that and stop feeding into this bullshit nonsense, right? But most of you there have nothing. Nothing. Huh, Bill? You sit there at home in your mommy's house, probably in your original room, right? And you play around on YouTube all day, right? And then you want to criticize me? And you're not even criticizing me, Bill. All you're doing is insulting me. You have absolutely no substance to go along with your restreams that are illegally done. I'm just letting you know, Bill, I am that close to suing you in federal copyright court. I am that close. And I don't care if I'm running multiple cases at once. I don't care. And there's nothing you can do about it. And what's your argument going to be? Fair use over an entire watch party taking viewers from me while I'm live? And the amount and substantiality. There's no commentary. It's all insults. It's not fair use. You're not doing fair use properly. But see, Bill, you're not going to stop until I hold you accountable, so we're probably going to end up in court, right? We're probably going to end up in court. You're going to let your allegiance to Jamie get you sued too, Bill? Right? You're going to let your allegiance to him get you sued? This is his audience, Bill. It's not yours. Because your audience would not be watching this right now. What you have watching you right now is Jamie's audience. That's why it's acting in concert. And he's right there. And so is Sarah, and so are other people. It's all acting in concert, right? Screw it. I'm going to go file. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat, please. Put a 1 in the chat. Thank you, ODN. Listen up, Jamie. I've screen recorded everything. And yeah, at some point it will be used against you in court, or at least in the court of public opinion. Because I'll tell you what, you made a statement in the chat saying that during litigation you have unilateral control of my content. That is a false statement, sir. You do not own my copyright. You do not control what I can and can't do to protect my channel. You are performing. Either you're performing to your audience because you got nothing else, or you legitimately think you're right about that and you're going to find out the hard way in court. I'm more so thinking it's number one that you're performing because you do not own the rights to my content. You said you have unilateral rights to my content during litigation. That is a false statement of fact, sir. That is a false statement. Anyone can go to Google, AI, or ChatGPT and say and ask them, so does a defendant in a civil case have unilateral rights and control of the plaintiff's content on YouTube during active litigation? Wrong. My videos are my videos. Court or not, I have the right to protect my channel and put videos to private that I feel are going to affect my channel. And if you need access to those, you ask the proper way through discovery. Or you can even send me an email and I'll send you whatever the fuck you want. Now, you're not triggering me. You're just, this is the way you've lived your life. You are an unreasonable, spoiled brat that can't win on the merits. So you try to win by overwhelming and destroying your opponents. And I'm not falling for that. And you're not going to lead me to believe that I'm going to find out on Friday what's going to happen. I am not scared of you. I wouldn't even care if you sent this video to Judge Stacy. I don't care what you do because it's not going to matter on Friday. None of it's going to matter. You're going to see what's going to happen. You know why? Because I understand procedure and you don't. Either it's that or you're performing for your audience, and because you already know you're in deep duty, you're like, oh, I might as well just perform to my audience and lead them to believe, that I'm going to win and I'm victorious and I'm the man and I have the upper hand, this and that. That's the furthest thing from the truth, right? You could ask Bill to stop and he would. Bill would do you that favor. And you see, here's the thing, Jamie. When people don't listen to you, you get really triggered and you go after them hard. You've done that many times in the past. So if you ask Bill to stop, he would. But you're not going to because you don't want to, because you want to keep coming at me through a third party because it's a safer way to do it while we're in active litigation, especially after I started filing copyrights on you again. I'm going to keep filing on everyone. I'm going to keep filing on your entire group. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to legally protect myself from you and that entire group. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do. You don't scare me. Your threats are empty. You're irrational with your responses. They make zero sense at all. A bill could be going down for copyright any second on YouTube. Bill could be going down for copyright any second on YouTube. He wants to risk it, that's on him. I finally said, screw it, I'm going to file. That's why I was offline for a little while. It's so nice that YouTube pretty much pre-fills most of everything. There's more coming tomorrow. I'm going to more than likely be doing a show from the studio tomorrow. What they're probably going to do is do an unlisted live stream. Because they know from the studio it'll be even easier to file a copyright takedown. You folks do what you got to do. I'm going to continue to share my truth. I'm going to continue to do deep insights on what I feel and practically know is going to happen. You should be more so thinking about settling, sir. That's all I got to say. But you're not going to do that because it'll make you look bad in front of your audience. But yeah, it is what it is, right? I'll just tell you, Friday is not YouTube, sir. It's court. YouTube's not going to matter on Friday. Now, the only things that matter about YouTube are, the defamation and anything that's actionable in court is all that Judge Stacy's going to care about. She's not going to care about being on someone else's panel or whatever, or using First Amendment speech to share my thoughts about what's going on in the case. That's my protected speech to do so. You want to go to Judge Stacy and basically tell her that I'm talking about this case during active litigation in non-defamatory ways, and then all I'll come back and say is, Your Honor, Honorable Judge Stacy. I'll just call her Your Honor. I just emphasize that for the show. Your Honor. Oh, they're playing music here. I'll just say, Your Honor. I'm just using my First Amendment protected speech to talk about my case. It's my right to do so. I'm not defaming anyone. I'm not harassing anyone. I'm not violating anyone's copyright. And it's quite ironic, Your Honor, that the defendant is accusing me of this because, if he's accusing me of defamation and all that, while saying I'm trying to silence his freedom of speech. So in essence, he can't have it both ways. He's trying to silence my freedom of speech while accusing me of trying to silence his when there's clear-cut defamation. Let me come over here because people are blaring some tunes over there. Looks like Bill moved things to Rumble because he doesn't want to go down for 7 days for copyright infringement, right? You're really afraid of platform enforcement, huh, Bill? Yeah. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Thank you, Tia. Listen up, Jamie. You're just an instigator. When you have nothing of substance, including for the court, for the hearing, you just flip things in ways that make it seem like you're right and I'm wrong. Here's the thing. You can file whatever you want, sir. You could bring into the court whatever you want regarding YouTube. If you want to bring in all the YouTube drama on Friday, go right the fuck ahead. Do what you got to do. Just understand this. This is a hearing specifically for spoliation of evidence, adverse inference, and for litigation-only protective orders regarding the evidence, right? That's it. That's all the hearing is about. So all the evidence that you present at that hearing, you can file whatever you want on the docket any fucking time you want. Let me be really clear, because you like to take me out of context because you have no other substance, sir, and you do that because you try to trigger people. I'm just calling you out on your own game. When you have no substance, you just try to flip everything the other way to try to overwhelm and undermine your opponent. Doesn't work on me, man. Doesn't work on me. You can file whatever you want, but what you present to the court at the hearing has to be within the scope of the hearing. So, for example, you can't bring something up that's not a part of that hearing. Now, at the motion to dismiss / anti-slap, that's going to be about me proving defamation and me proving my other causes of action for your motion to dismiss. Defamation is going to be regarding your anti-SLAPP, and then abuse of process, malicious prosecution, and intentional infliction of emotional distress are going to be on your MTD motion to dismiss part, right? That's what that hearing is going to be about. Nothing beyond that. These are specific hearings. This is not trial, sir. This is not trial where you can bring up whatever the fuck you want. You can file whatever the fuck you want right now. You just can't bring it up because you'll get objected by me, and Judge Stacy will, I'll say, relevance, Your Honor, objection, Your Honor, relevance. This is a preservation and spoliation case. How is that relevant? She's going to ask you, how is that relevant? How are you going to answer that if it's not relevant? You see, here's the only thing that's relevant. The only thing you can present on Friday that's relevant, you're going to say, and I already knew you were going to do this. I already have my answer. You're going to try to say, yeah, he got me the videos. He replaced the links. I got that. But now I want access to the chat. I want access to the metrics, the thumbnails, and all that stuff, right? When initially you never put that in your filing. All you did was use my public link, and you quoted me, and then you have the transcripts, and you put that quote, you attached the video links to corroborate my quotes. If you saw screenshots that were going to help you for the case, you would have already had them. So in essence, sir, I know you're fucking reaching. I know you're reaching, but the bottom line is it's the only play you have in court. You're still going to play that card. You know why? Because it's the only card you have, sir. And all I'm going to say in court is, Your Honor, I fulfilled my duty here. If he wants additional information that was not in his original filings, all that was temporarily not available was the video link. He never filed screenshots or anything. So if he wants that now, Your Honor, I'd be happy to get that for him if he goes through the proper channels of discovery. That's it. You know what she's going to say? That's procedurally proper. And she's going to come back to you and say, okay, so that's very reasonable to me, Mr. I'm not going to say your last name. You know who you are. You also know I'm right, and you can't admit it. You also know that. I don't care. You want to try to make me look stupid. I am not stupid. I am not triggered. You got people in your chat saying, oh, I love Angry Eli. I don't give a shit if you love Angry Eli or not. Doesn't matter. This is not Angry Eli. This is just dumb stuff. This is me standing tall and saying I'm not intimidated. I'm ready to go. There's more coming tomorrow. There's more coming tomorrow. I promise you, there's more coming tomorrow. We're gonna dive deep into this tomorrow. Whatever you do, rebroadcast, unlisted, whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll keep going, even if you rebroadcast unlisted and I can't see you. Because the bottom line is everyone's going to know the truth. I'm going to share the truth with them. And on Friday, reality is going to finally hit you, sir. On Friday, reality is finally going to sink in. Okay? On Friday, reality is going to finally sink in. My lovely lady Dawn, do you have a quote for today? Are you around? Dawn, are you around? My lovely lady Dawn. Babe. Or did you go back and nap again? Don and I did our podcast today. It's on Don Lemon. I believe I made one mistake. I thought the Oscars had already passed, but they hadn't. They're today. And from what I read, Don Lemon was given a standing ovation, I believe. Even Harvey Levin from the owner of TMZ, the owner and producer of TMZ, is on Don Lemon's side. That's what our podcast is on this week. It's going to be a very interesting episode, and Man, the corruption of our government, man. The Trump trying to silence his critics. I swear to God, man. If you want to criticize someone for trying to silence First Amendment rights of their opponents, you should look at Trump, Mr. Defendant. Look at Trump. He's trying to silence people on the left. I'm not going to be reading that, GLM. That's inappropriate. You know, you folks want to continue to post things there that are inappropriate, that are going to get people on that side to say that I allow you folks to post that kind of stuff. I mean, seriously, that's unacceptable. It really is. It's unacceptable. Tia, she's joking about not her dad. She's joking about someone else's dad. Tia, you're not even getting the joke because she's being inappropriate. And that's just... it's just not appropriate. You know what, Sandra and Tia? Just saying that someone's a hot mess does not correct the inappropriation. It's not a good look for the organization. I'm just saying. And you all know that, right? But you call GLM out, you're going to piss her off, right? You don't want to do that, right? So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Instead of GLM just respecting that this is not a drama channel, this is not a place where inappropriate stuff like that should exist, despite the many times we've said we don't want that here, then I don't know what to say, right? And I like GLM, I like Flex, I like all of them, I like hanging out with them, but I don't need that kind of inappropriate shit here tied to my business's name. I don't need that. I don't. No, I'm not wrong, Sandra. I'm absolutely not wrong. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate for the organization to write things like that in the chat. It absolutely is inappropriate. About you, I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean, Sandra. What am I wrong about you? I didn't even say a thing about you. All I said was what GLM wrote is inappropriate for this chat. It's inappropriate, period, in my opinion. Right? I don't need that kind of stuff here. I don't. I really don't. So you tell me where I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, I can apologize. If I'm not wrong, then I can say, hey, whatever, it's all good. Then what did I do, Sandra? Tell me what I did. Can you tell me what I did? I'm out of here. See you all later. You folks don't deserve any more of my fucking time tonight. And we're going to be talking about potential changes in this organization soon. Good night, everyone.